I'm Cecily, and welcome to Pink Things Through. Hi, ladies. Welcome to my talk. So, today I would like to talk about battling breast cancer during singleness. Yes, during singleness. Um, when I first was diagnosed, I was fresh out of a almost 7 year relationship. And having that relationship end and then later on being diagnosed with breast cancer brought me to like turmoil. Okay? When you are battling such a horrid disease as such as cancer, and amongst a lot of other ones, you try and hold on and grasp on to what you're comfortable with, to just make sure that you're not feeling alone. You just want to hold on to just anything, you know what I mean? And so being single and being diagnosed with breast cancer just made the disease that much more horrific for me. And what made it even worse was going to my local breast cancer group or going on social media and seeing all of my other beautiful pink sisters who are battling as well, and they have great husbands or awesome fiancés or just amazing boyfriends who are just doing everything they can to assist my pink sister through this journey, because that's definitely what it is. And I started to find myself feeling envious or jealous, and I started to remove focus on me healing, because I consider my transitions to be healing. I consider chemo part of my healing. I consider my meditation part of my healing. I consider my growth in my spirituality part of my healing. Radiation, surgery, I consider that part of my healing. And so it made me pretty much not even focus on my healing and not even focus on being thankful for just a lot of things. It really just made me focus on, I don't have a man, I don't have a husband, I gotta do this by myself, what am I going to do? It really took me into a state of panic. And every time I would see a pink sister who has that type of support from a spouse, because I did have support, but there's a certain type of support from a spouse. I mean, when you go to bed, they're there. When you wake up in the morning, they're there. When you're throwing up late at night, they're there. You know? So that type of support is different from my sister, who is amazing, by the way. That type of support from a spouse, from what I've always seen and what I believe a spouse to be, it just made me very sad. It also made me feel more alone than I ever had. Because when you're going through something as what we are, my pink sisters, you need comfort from all directions. I mean family, I mean friends, I mean co-workers. And true enough, most definitely that spouse. I found myself being okay with, hey, maybe I should revisit that relationship that ended a few months ago. Just so that I can feel some type of security, feel some type of comfort in that area. Like, it even made me think of those things. It even made me, like, when I'm out and about and I see couples and, or see things on social media, it just made me, it put me more in a depressed state, even more deeper than initially what I'm fighting, what I was fighting. And I came to a conclusion, and this took time. I'm a year out from diagnosis, and this is actually, the way that I'm feeling now is actually still coming into, you know what I mean? Like, I'm still bridging that gap of singleness during and singleness afterwards. Of course, it's never an afterwards for us, because we just always had this in the back of our minds, like, for the rest of our lives on this side. So, things that I started doing. I started to realize that it is better to be single, whether you are going through a situation, trial, tribulation, cancer, no matter what it is. It's better to be single than to force yourself into something that you know is not for you at this moment. And then I also took a deep dive, which I am at the beginning of my spirituality. I meditate a whole lot. I visit herbal shops. I visit this place called Crystal Blue in Atlanta, Georgia, in Little Five Points. Shout out to you guys. For a lot of my meditation and spirituality needs. Definitely my 7 chakras, which my throat chakra is actually, my throat chakra incense is actually burning right now. Because this was a very personal trial for me. But anyways, I have that going to just open up my communication, make myself more transparent. So I started to do a lot of things that pretty much solidified who I was, which actually completes me and make me remember who I am to myself. And I actually started to think about my purpose. I actually started to think more about my children. Yeah, I may not have a spouse, but I have my children. I can go in there and love on them. It's different, but it's something. It's something. And what I started to do is just do things that I love to do. When I drop my children off at school in the morning times, I go walk a mile. And that gets my energy pumping for the day. I'm able to think about all the things I need to organize and do. What it is that I may want to put into action. Things I need to catch up on. Listening to talks. Listening to podcasts. Listening to music. I love music, by the way. Like, I love all genres of music, by the way. And that's the time that I get to be alone. In my own palace, so to speak. And because considering that I'm a single mother of 2, when children are home, you really have to kind of be focused on them. And like even now, while I'm doing this video, my children are in the bed. I have a 3-year-old and then I have an 8-year-old. So I really started to remove my focus of what I don't have and replace it with, this is what I have. and I'm going to work with what I have, and I'm going to be creative in what I am. And once I started to shift my mind from, I don't have a husband, I don't have this, I don't have a boy, I don't have, and shifted to, well, I do have my children. Well, I can call my sister at any given time, even though she has to be up at 3 in the morning. I can call her anytime I want to, anytime I need to. I can contact my mother, my father. I can write in my journal. I can document. I can light up my 7-inch chakra, my 7 incense chakras, and I can meditate with my singing bowl. I can listen to music. So I just started to replace a lot of what I don't with reminding myself of what I do have. And I believe that once we start to do that and start to shift our focus, we will actually begin to keep our minds on the ending result of what we're going through. And that is to heal ourselves. Like I said, all types of treatments to me, I consider healing. Your surgery, your chemo, all of that is healing to me. And I feel like that is what our focus should be. Because in a time like this, it is crunch time. It is time for us to get grounded. It is time for us to pay attention to our bodies. And we kind of can't do that if we have a whole lot of distractions. Like battling breast cancer during singleness. It's a true emotion. You don't have to deny it. Allow yourself to feel it. Allow yourself to work through the emotions of it, because I had to allow myself to do that as well. And I am still doing it. It's a process, but it is doable. Love you, ladies.